So you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so the Peach Bitcoin, a KYC-free peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange, and why it matters more than you think. And so why does peer-to-peer matter? We've been talking about it. People that don't use peer-to-peer exchanges, they use Binance. And they just want to buy low, sell high. And it's incredible that they don't know what a seed phrase is. A lot of people invest in paper Bitcoin, and they don't know anything about Bitcoin. They don't know about Bitcoin Core and knots. They don't know about Satoshi. They don't know anything about Bitcoin. It's amazing. But and they just care about price going up, price going down. But people that use the peer-to-peer exchanges, they're the Bitcoiners. And everyone knows that Bitcoiners don't want to sell their Bitcoin, but sometimes they have to. Sometimes they get their salaries on Bitcoin and they need fiat because some things they cannot buy yet with Bitcoin. So for instance, if you go to Madeira, it's a place where you can spend Bitcoin a lot. There's a lot of places that accept Bitcoin, but if you're living there, I'm not sure you can buy gasoline yet for your car, if you have a car. So you still need fiat for the gasoline. You still need fiat for some things. So one thing that I want to say is, let's look when Bitcoin price goes up, and let's remember that Bitcoin price is most of the times determined by the price of Binance, Coinbase, and all the central exchanges, which is very weird because if Bitcoin is peer-to-peer, why is the reference price the no peer-to-peer way? But what happens when Bitcoin price goes up, that on central exchanges, it just means that more people are buying and selling. And on peer-to-peer, people are using Bitcoin regularly because they're interested in Bitcoin circulating. That's it. And when the Bitcoin price goes down on central exchanges, more people are selling than buying. And on the peer-to-peer side, people just use Bitcoin regularly, same thing. And a lot of people buy because they believe the price will go up. And this is the thing that, this is my experience at Peach, is that when the Bitcoin price on central exchanges goes down, the volume at Peach goes up. It's unbelievable. And one of the explanations that I see, and from some people that I met that live on the Bitcoin standard but still need some fiat, they imagine that you have Bitcoin, but you need 1,000 euros per month in fiat. And you always want to have 3 months of fiat. So you need 3,000 euros always with you, just for security. And let's say the Bitcoin price is going down. You still believe that it's going up, but you still need those next 3 months of euros. So you sell your Bitcoin, and it's fine because you're going to earn more Bitcoin, and then the price is going to go up later on. So there's two different perceptions of the Bitcoin value, and it's the central exchange perception and the peer-to-peer perception. And we still need to educate a lot of people that are stuck on the central exchange version of Bitcoin to the wonders of peer-to-peer. And just to say something that I already said, if you look at the header, the title of the Bitcoin white paper, it's a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It's not an electronic cash system. It needs to have peer-to-peer to be meaningful. Any questions, anything you guys like to share regarding what I just said?
Not on my side.
Okay. Q?
I think let's proceed to see how Peach works, and because maybe people will be interested in the more like technical, let's just say, aspect of this tool.
I will do that. I'll definitely do that. So what is Peach? Peach is a no-KYC peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange for Android and iOS, and that's it. Where we don't deal with Ethereum or Solana or other cryptocurrencies. We just deal with Bitcoin. And it's no KYC, which means that you don't need to insert your personal information in order to trade on Peach, and it's peer-to-peer. So it's unstoppable. One detail, Peach is a company that is regulated, and its headquarters are in Switzerland. So this is not just a bedroom project. This is something that is secure. So what does Peach do after all? It connects buyers and sellers anonymously, tracks the reputation of the traders, so the buyers and the sellers, uses an on-chain escrow of the sats that are being traded. So there's this two of two multi-sig with a time lock. I can get into that detail later on. And provides support for disputes. So this means that if you're doing a peer-to-peer trade and you already sent the fiat, but the seller doesn't want to sell you the Bitcoin, then there is a moderator that comes in and helps solving the problems. And the last thing that we do is we batch transactions to save on fees. And this is a big batch transaction that we have. You can see this is a screenshot of mempool.space of, I think this was, I'm not sure how many transactions were here, but there were a lot of buyers and sellers. So sellers selling their Bitcoin to buyers. This is beautiful. This was all peer-to-peer anonymously. Any
I think
questions?
we have a raised hand, Paolo.
Okay.
Alessandra, are you talking about like Peach transaction are like a pay join on one side and a coin join on the other side? Is it something that could we see like that?
First of all, you can call me Alex. I'm just used to being called Alex. It's fine. And it's not that. So what happens with the flow? I'm going to share my screen. I'm sharing my screen, but I'm going to share some other things. I'm going to share. Wait a second. I'm going to share this. Do you want to see Peach app in action, by the way?
Okay,
Yes.
nice.
So on one phone, it's going to be the seller. On the other phone, it's going to be the buyer. So I'm going to be creating, this is, by the way, this is test environment. This is in my computer. It's not real Bitcoin, but Peach has been operating for 4 years. So this is not a new project. But all the Bitcoin in this performance will be fake Bitcoin. So this was a freshly installed app. And, oh yeah, right, a restore. So I just created an account and I didn't insert any personal information.
Excuse me a second, Alex. Is there something you want to say, Prof, before we continue?
Yeah, quick question. For Bitcoin meetup organizers, we often organize workshops regarding peer-to-peer, and obviously we talk about RoboSats and Peach. And that's very difficult to use Peach during a workshop because you have quite a few things to do. You have to share your screen and to do a real transaction using Revolut, PayPal, and so on. And at some point, you can just show to everyone personal information. So my question is this kind of, let's say, computer app is downloadable or available for Bitcoin meetup organizers in a way that we will be able to use it for demonstration purpose?
So yes, this is, no one has ever asked that before, but absolutely yes, I will give you everything. We have one app that is available, which we only use internally and for some of our friends to help us test. We have the test version of Peach, which runs on fake Bitcoin and has one block being mined every single minute. That will be perfect to demonstrate Peach for sure. Also, if you go to our YouTube channel, there will be me explaining all of this in videos if people are interested. But yeah, I can give you the test version of Peach. And to be clear, the test version of Peach is green. The real version of Peach is red. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I think this will be super interesting, and we might actually include this in the tutorial about Peach we have on the platform. So let's talk about that, Alex. Definitely.
Yeah, because I'm almost sure that more than 50 to 100 communities worldwide who would love to use this one for workshops.
Oh, for sure. This was a great
Definitely.
idea. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
I think that's definitely included in our tutorial, so we can share it with everyone.
Mhm. So, continuing, I just created an account on Peach, and I didn't insert any passwords, any username, any email, no nothing. What happened was Peach created a wallet, a Bitcoin wallet, and the wallet has a pub key, and the pub key becomes my user ID. So your username is your pub key. And we use some cryptographic methods for you to prove that you own the private key that results in this public key. And if you come here, I'm going to use the phone on the left. You also see wallet on the bottom. And this means that you have a Bitcoin wallet, self-custody Bitcoin wallet here. It has 0 sats right now. It should have some, but let's give it some sats. I'm just going to give some sats to this user. I'm going to give it, faucet 0.1. I just made a transaction on my Bitcoin test environment. And if I refresh, oh, wow, this is not working as I expected. I wonder what's going on. Sorry, guys, demo effect. Peach usually is not.
Maybe do you have to wait 1 minute for the block to be mined?
No, because when I'm using when I'm using a faucet on my local environment, oh, okay, just had a problem refreshing. So some problems locally. Yeah, it has 0.2 sats. So as you can see, we have our own wallet. You can receive and send Bitcoin payments using Peach. And what does this mean? It means that if you're buying or selling on Peach, by just installing the app, you create a self-custody Bitcoin wallet, and you can see your seeds here, backups, seed phrase. You can see it here. And you're ready to go on the Bitcoin journey. You're ready to go. You can buy and sell and keep custody of your Bitcoin immediately. So let's assume that we want to sell some Bitcoin. And we choose the payment method. I was already working here previously, so I selected Wise as a payment method and euros. And I want to sell 20,000 sats, which is around 15 euros, at a 3.5% premium, which is 15 euros and 84 cents. Not much. And if I want to sell it, then the first stage is to fund the escrow. So the first stage is to do a Bitcoin main chain transaction to put the Bitcoin, your Bitcoin that you're selling, into the Bitcoin blockchain on a multi-sig from the seller and Peach. So I'm just funding it with the Peach wallet because as you guys saw, I already have some sats there. I'm funding it. It's already on the mempool. I'm going to mine a block on my local environment. Okay. It's here. And then the guy on the right, which is a buyer, is like, oh, I want to buy. Okay, there's a user here. He's selling 20,000 sats for 15 euros and 85 cents. Okay, he's accepting euros on Wise. So on a peer-to-peer trade, everyone needs to agree on the payment method. So what kind of fiat, so what currency, and what payment method? Is it cash? Is it Revolut, Wise, a bank transfer? Just so you guys know, Peach supports like a lot of currencies. There's European, global, African currencies, Asian currencies, and also a lot of payment methods. So like bank transfers, online wallets. So let's just select Wise, and username is Plan B. Let's imagine that the Wise username is Plan B. So we buy, come here, and then we request a trade. We have this time to think it through if we regret this. And then the seller will be notified that there's someone that's interested in buying his 20,000 sats. They can chat with each other. So they can exchange some messages. By the way, they're fully encrypted. Peach cannot know the messages. So it's peer-to-peer encrypted. Who's asking a question?
I am. The encryption is really great, but I have another question linked to that. Why do you? When can you have only one app on your phone, only one Peach app on your phone, and at the same time, why, when you try to delete the app for, let's say, a few reasons, when you download it again, you always go to the same, let's say, profile and not a new one?
You go to a new one. You go to a new one.
No, you don't. I'm
Well,
almost sure I've already did that, but
there's a small detail. So what happens here is that the regulations of Switzerland allow us to do no KYC trades as long as we can prove the uniqueness of a person. So if you're using one phone, when you download the app and you install, you share a hashed version of your device, and that's going to be used to identify you as a unique user. So if you delete the Peach app and you download it again, Peach will recognize that that phone already had the Peach app installed, and it will link you to your previous installation. So the user itself, it will generate a different Bitcoin wallet, different seeds, but it's going to recognize that it's linked. Answering your question, that's how it works.
okay, thanks.
So continuing, the buyer showed interest on buying from the seller. The seller said, okay, I accept your request. So as you can see, now the seller sees here, username, Plan B. This was the detail that we inserted here. And the payment data, so Plan B, is encrypted end-to-end, and Peach doesn't know these details. Only these two users know these details because they create their own encryption keys that are saved on their phone. And this is like, all of our code is open source. I have published some blogs explaining this. Really, Peach doesn't get access to your payment data. It just doesn't. So at this stage, we see that it's the time for the buyer to send fiat to the seller. And why is the fiat sent first? Because we already have the Bitcoin, the 20,000 sats on escrow, on the multi-sig of Peach and the seller. So the Bitcoin is safe. So now it's time for the fiat to be sent. I'm going to do something previously. Just before that, you see here Groupon. This is the batch system. I'm just going to disable the batch system just so everything works faster. Trades, buy, here we are. And I'm going to, let's say the buyer opens this Wise app, sends 15.86 euros to iPhone 17 Pro Max, declares that the payment was made, and then the seller, this is going to update soon. Okay, it says the buyer made the payment. So the seller then opens his Wise app and checks if he received 15.86 euros from username Plan B. If so, he just declares, I received the payment. And the trade is complete. At this moment, there was a transaction that was signed by Peach and by the seller and broadcast to the mempool. And if we open the wallet, and let me mine another block, let me just refresh it. Here you go. This is not 20,000 sats, but it's 20,000 sats minus miner fees. And this is how Peach works. It's peer-to-peer, simple. What did you guys think of this?
I don't know if I lost like a part, but like so if you do transactions on chain, obviously you're gonna have fees, and you're gonna have to decide how much you want to pay in fees. So in this case, the receiver will have to wait from 10 to I don't know how many minutes to receive the transaction.
That's true. I'm just checking like my local Explorer.
Okay, so it is in a way influenced by this.
Yes.
Like the transaction to the escrow, I mean.
Yes, both transactions from the escrow and then to the buyer, they need to wait for a block. Since I'm on my local environment, then I mine my own blocks.
Of course.
So you can see here, this was the first transaction. The seller had a UTX of 1 Bitcoin, and he sent this 20,000 sats over here. We can see the 20,000 sats went to a pay-to-witness script hash. This is very common with multisigs, if you're familiar with the Bitcoin protocol and the Bitcoin script. This was the first transaction, and it went to this address that ends with 2HT. And if we come back to the blocks, we can see that there was this transaction from, where was it? Oh, here. Oh, wow. Is it the same? Oh, yes, it is. This transaction here, that went from this block, from this UTXO, up to here. And we can check that this is a pay-to-witness key, public key hash, which is like normal wallets. So everything was done on chain. Does that answer your question?
I would say, yeah, of course. So would you say that the money you receive, let's just say the Bitcoin you receive as the buyer, will be influenced on how many fees the other one decided to use? Because if they decide to use, I don't know, 100 sats per byte, then I might get like half of the amount I was asking for.
Yes, no. So for the first transaction, I think, are we here? No, the first transaction was here. He was selling 20,000 sats. So he needs to get 20,000 sats on that address. Doesn't matter how much fees he pays. And then for the transaction to get the sats out of the escrow to the buyer, it's a multi-sig transaction, but it's coordinated by Peach. So Peach decides via an algorithm that we have, via code, to use the least transaction fees possible. And recently it's just 1 sat per vbyte.
Okay.
We minimize the spends, because we always want to increase how many sats the buyer actually gets. And this is one of the reasons why we do this transaction batching. So if you come here, if you're saving up on fees, then if you get people together, then the fees are going to be lower, just because they're sharing. On this day, it was optimal, but it was 2.12 sats per vbyte. But most recently, we've been doing just 1 sat per vbyte. So the buyers are happy, they're not getting ripped off.
Yeah, of course. I guess many people even are happy to pay a little bit of bigger just say they're happy to pay a bigger percentage to get peer-to-peer funds, instead of going to an exchange and maybe pay less, but like give out all of your information to who knows what.
Yes, this is true. And people, the Peach community, we're like big on Telegram. Everyone enjoys talking on the Peach group. It feels like they don't really, if it's about price speculation, they know that Bitcoin price is going to go up. So they're okay with paying a little bit of fees because the price of anonymity, the price of privacy is priceless. And that's it. And
exactly. And this is true for many services in Bitcoin. So does anyone have questions for Alex?
By the way, guys,
what you have seen?
If you want, we're available on Google Store, Zap Store, on our website, on GitHub, also on iOS. iOS, you need to download something called Test Flights, but we're also available. If you, I'll just leave it here. There was a question, right?
Yeah, just try and use the APK, guys, if you can.
Yes.
It's definitely the best option. Okay. So, Prof, what is your question?
It's going to be my last question because I will have to go after. My question is, will you at some point integrate Lightning payments in a way that user, yes, will? And
yes, we will.
Do you know when?
We want to do it earlier next year. We want to do it the first quarter.
Amazing.
Yes.
Nice.
And quick thing, it's not going to be just Lightning. It's going to be also Liquid and maybe Rootstock. Maybe.
Okay. Quite cool.
Yes.
GG, guys.
Well, it was a pleasure. See you next time.
Nice.